Wicked. This is awesome. Let's feast, brother.
Hell yeah.
If you don't mind, I will pray for us.
Absolutely. I would appreciate that.
Dear Lord, thank you for this glorious day. Thank you for your presence. God, thank you for this delicious food and, Lord, this amazing company. Yeah, just bless our time together and bless this conversation and bless this food to our bodies. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Yeah, dude. Thank you for coming down. Let's
My pleasure.
dig in.
Looks so good.
Very hot.
Yeah, I bet. Might have to take some time.
Yeah.
Cool.
But man, the sprouts definitely adds another dimension that's very good.
Yeah.
Never thought of that, like sprouts, but it's like, yeah. Anytime I have meat, it's just natural to put vegetables with it. Like they just jive so well together, I find. Like I would have turkey bacon and with spinach. Just like little chunk, like just grab it at the same, just like like turkey bacon and spinach.
Yeah.
They balance each other out.
Yeah, for sure. Love balancing things with veggies. Sometimes just like having like veggie in one hand, cheese in the other. It's like bite of cheese and then pepper or something.
Exactly, yeah. And the salty savoriness of the cheese or the meat is just makes it work. Adds so much to the veggies.
Thank you.
Yeah, you bet.
Yep, definitely can taste the spice in that.
Yeah, the cayenne, like the whatever red spice that was. Yeah, it's good. Apparently, spicy food turns on like visceral fat burning, which helps your like organ fat burn away.
Yeah, that's good.
From Thomas DeLoyer or something. He was talking about that. You know, like that's cool. Like, then I was joking to my friend from Louisiana. I'm like, yeah, you must not be fat at all, hey, because you're out there eating so much spicy food. He's like, yeah, actually. Yeah, it's always amazes me how easy it is to make a stew like this, and yet how delicious it ends up being. Like,
Yeah.
gotta cook more stews. We need more cauliflower. Oh, excuse me. Went down the wrong pipe. So, Mark, did you grow up here in Winnipeg too?
Yeah. I was born in Winnipeg. Spent a couple of years just outside of Winnipeg.
Okay.
On like a farm.
Oh, and you went to Red Deer too, or
Lethbridge.
Lethbridge? Okay.
Yeah.
Alberta.
Yep. Spent quite a lot of time in Alberta. When I was 14, I moved to Lethbridge. And then I moved back and forth between Lethbridge and Winnipeg until I was 17. But then when I was 17, I stayed in Lethbridge. And then eventually, like I stayed in Lethbridge for a long time. Then when I was about 29, 30, I moved to Strathmore, Alberta, and then to Calgary, and then to Watana, which is like an hour north of Edmonton.
Okay.
And then back to Lethbridge for a few more years, and then just over 2 years ago, I moved back here.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I was so I was living in Lethbridge, for my teenage years and formative years, 20s, and then in my very late 20s, I got a job being a live-in nanny. So it was like raising these 3 kids and stuff, or helping to. and then the family moved to Strathmore, so I moved with them, being a live-in nanny. And then, and then they moved to Calgary, then they moved to Twatana, and then that's when I stopped working for them and then moved back to Lethbridge.
Wow, that's quite the story.
Yeah, so I was like, there's 3 kids, and then as I was working there, like I was doing that job for like 3 years, so there's another kid born into the family while I was doing it, so then there's 4 kids, so all from newborn up until like age 12, so yeah, it's awesome. I love it. It's the best job I ever had in my life. I love kids so much, and I just love the opportunity to show them that agapic love, that attention, that helps them to develop appropriately and stuff, and really trying to teach them about critical thinking and how to, have nuance in their life and stuff. And
yeah, definitely. That's really cool, man. Yeah, I definitely have a heart for kids, and that agape love. When I was in church, that they noticed how I would just go from people to people and be like, oh, you're not like connected right now, let's connect, and then I started doing like middle school ministry, and then eventually settled in toddler ministry, which was it was just such a joy. Like, the little ones. Yeah, they're at that age too, like they're just so cute, they're just so funny, like little monsters.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, well, I look forward to having kids of my own one day.
Me too. It's a thing I feel I want most in life, is to, get married and raise kids. I also, it's not only the thing I want the most, but it's the thing I think I would be the best at.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I mean, and this probably sounds pious to say, but, or self-absorbed or arrogant, but I think it's possible that, especially with a little bit more experience, I might be like the best at it, like who knows, who's to say I wouldn't be the world's best dad,
Yeah, I think so, man. I think you have a good heart for that, and that's really what makes the difference. And
yeah, absolutely.
And being able to be honest in relationships.
Yeah,
which I definitely feel you're an honest guy.
Yeah, I really try to be.
Yeah, and we could like talk about things that are difficult or have disagreements, and that it would be easy to get through that. I feel like that with you for sure.
Yeah, definitely have. And I've tried to practice that too. Like just yesterday, I was over at Utopia with Holly and stuff, and we just after everything was done, we had a conversation and stuff, talking about stuff, and sometimes difficult stuff comes up where someone has a different perspective, and they might feel very strongly about it, and and I feel very strongly about certain things too. So, and we had a somewhat confrontational conversation, but still like very civil. We're just putting out our perspectives. No one's trying to be adversarial. Just so I think it went really well. I was offering some pushback on her perspectives. She's saying, oh, well, I don't like that because of this. Particularly. When it comes to like religious type stuff, which is fair enough. A lot of people have trauma regarding religion and stuff, and that's fair enough because there's lots of crazy things that have happened, but and just depending on my personal experience too, but I would offer some pushback and just being like, oh, why do you think that, or why do you think that's how it is, or and just I don't know. I think it went really well, and I feel like when you have those kind of, I guess you can say disagreements or whatever, it's good to always come from a place of curiosity. It's not like I'm trying to tell you you're wrong. It's like, I want to know why you think that, It's like, and then sort of give you the attention necessary for you to examine why you think what you think, and, how to develop or grow, or, and maybe you'll still think what you think, but at least have a more high resolution understanding of why you think that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's awesome, yeah.
Instead of just having a sort of like automaticity about it, just like, oh, I believe this because that's what I believe, like,
which happens when we're unchallenged.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and we're like immature is maybe a harsh word, but that's the reality. Is like when we may not think of our beliefs too much, and then somebody has different beliefs and then challenge us, and it's like iron sharpens iron, and yeah, that's awesome, man. Yeah, I think that's kind of part of the to me, it's something that's part of the new Renaissance mentality. It's just like, hey, we're not gonna all agree on things, especially when it comes to spirituality. And there's been a lot of trauma from like church experiences and like Christians who are Pharisees or whatever, and it's unfortunate that more Christians don't embody love as much as Jesus did, but
Yeah.
it's also that kind of place where we can make space for each other and just like agree on the things that matter, which is peace and love and unity and respect.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to focus on the things that we agree upon, not the things we disagree upon, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's like the line in Star Wars in The Last Jedi. Rose says, you know, we'll win by saving the things we love, not by fighting the things we hate.
Right. Amen. Yeah, that's a really good perspective, because yeah, and that's interesting, because that's another reason why, like, the more and more I've studied the law, the more and more that I realize, like, oh, I'm actually somebody who cares greatly about the law. Even though, like, people will be like, you're so rebellious, or you're breaking the law, or you're doing things that are against what the government says, and it's like, I'm doing that because I respect the law. And the greater law of God is not the lower law of man.
Yeah, yeah. Absolutely. And for me personally, one thing that is really salient to me is that, you know, I have a deep love for the spirit of the law. And I think sometimes people get too focused on the letter of the law, and they, you know, just worry about enforcing, you know, what the law says, instead of thinking, why does that law exist? Why should we be enforcing it, you know?
Right.
It's like, yeah, there should be laws about businesses and, you know, what the conditions are for being able to do certain forms of commerce, but, you know, you shouldn't be using that law to give a fine to a little kid having a lemonade stand, you know?
Oh yeah, that's
it's
far
like,
too, like, way too far gone
Yeah.
at that point. It's like, hello, like, how could you, oh, I'm just doing my job. It's like,
Yeah,
hello,
it's like,
you're
yeah.
not. Because
Yeah, exactly. You're not
you're
doing your
defiling
job.
the law.
Yeah, exactly.
Because your boss told you to, like.
Yeah. Yeah, we need people to are really morally centered and that understand the spirit of the law and will enforce it based on the spirit, you know?
Yeah, because
Like-
the letter of the law kills and the spirit of the law breathes life.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. That was beautiful.
Yeah, that's, I think that's in Hebrews.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's so incredible, actually, like how much of, like, from my perspective, at least right now, is just like how Jesus was like, love God with nothing above God, and then love your neighbor as yourself. And he's like, the whole of the law is right there.
Yeah.
And then like from everywhere after that, it's like, even with Paul and everything, Paul's like going around like teaching people like about the law and like how to incorporate those two key points into real life. And it's like, yeah, then that's part of why in Hebrews he's saying like the letter of the law kills and the spirit of the law breathes life. Because
Yeah.
I don't know, it reminds me of when I'd be like no turning left on a between 3:30 and 5 o'clock, and I'm like get the intention of the law here, which
Yeah.
is not to block, like, get in the way of the traffic going this way. But if I have to go there and there's no traffic coming this way and I'm stuck in the right position, then I'm just going to take that left, because it's not blocking, it's not creating that block, but it's also managing the flow properly, because now I don't have to go all the way over there and then come back and go there. So it's like, I remember that on turning left on Roslyn Road, because it'd be like, never would you catch me being the jerk in between 3:30 and 5:30 with the signal on, like, I'm just turning here, I don't care. It's like, no, you'll never catch me being that guy.
Yeah.
But if I'm stuck there going, dang, I wish I could turn there, and all of a sudden there's a huge opening, I'm gonna do it. Like, because that's like the flow of traffic is the law. Like, that's the purpose of that sign being there in the first place.
Yeah.
So it's like, sometimes you actually need to bend the guidelines, which rules are guidelines. You need to bend the rules in order to follow the law.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, we should be working towards making the world a better place, and sometimes, you know, and that's what the law is meant for, but sometimes it doesn't serve that, so sometimes you do have to break the law in order to serve the spirit of the law.
Yeah, that reminds me of this video I saw yesterday of somebody calling, like, RCMP and calling the army to break the chain of command, and that's the only way that we're going to get out of this tyranny, is to break the chain of command and to arrest Justin Trudeau. And just they showed some evidence of, like, he's already been in a number of scandals and, like, convicted of one. And that was just like, this guy is, like, where Canada, the conflict of interest that he bought like 400 million doses of the vaccine, when it's like, but it was like a BC company that created the lipid nanotechnology. So like somehow there's like a kickback, and like maybe Trudeau owns some stock. I don't know. That'd be maybe too obvious. I didn't get into the details too much.
Yeah.
But it did seem very odd that he's like purchasing 400 million doses for 32 million or 39 million people, whoever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, no, it's not going to be booster shots. Oh yeah, just kidding.
Yeah. Yeah.
Start to cool down a little bit and be easier to eat
Yeah.
now. It was definitely really hot. Fresh out of the crock pot.
Mm-hmm.
Man, does it ever do justice to that beef. Like, oh,
Mm.
so good.
Mm-hmm. Delicious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is a mighty fine beef stew for sure.
Yeah, well, thanks. You helped too.
Mm-hmm.
The mushrooms definitely added. And with the sprouts,
Yeah.
I'll be nourished for days.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, sprouts are the best for nourishment.
Yeah, really. Because plants put everything into their next generation.
Yeah, exactly. As they should, as we should.
Amen.
For the children.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if times get hard for a plant, they'll just pull nutrients from their extremities and like bring it up to their flowers and where they're making the seeds and put everything into those seeds so that that next generation could start off strong nutritionally.
Mm-hmm.
I just find that so fascinating.
For sure. And I feel like, to some degree, some people are doing that in the sense of trying to focus on the morality and values of their lives, instead of just trying to be prosperous in the way the game is, trying to make a new game that's a better game, you know?
Yeah.
Jordan Hall uses the terms, well, he's not the only one, but he's one of the people who uses the terms game A and game B. Game A being the way civilization has existed since the dawn of agriculture, and like now we need to shift to game B, you know, like a different non-rivalrous way of interacting with each other, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I'm totally all for maintaining the,
The dominance hierarchy?
well, yeah, but specifically when it comes to economics, like I think the currency systems are really useful. And I mean, I think one day we might be able to evolve to a point where we don't need them, but I don't think we should like try to get rid of money. It's like, money's excellent. It's a great concept. We just need better money. We need cryptocurrency, you know?
Yeah,
We need,
yeah.
You know, things that actually,
And also, I think that's a really cool thing we could dig into too, because like when Jesus says, like, give to Caesar's what Caesar's, and give to God what's God's. Well, at first I always say is like they seem to gloss over the fact that that passage starts with the conspiracy of the Pharisees trying to trick Jesus in his words. So it's like, these guys are starting with the conspiracy to trick Jesus. Like,
Yeah.
how can you just go from that to like, just pay your taxes?
Yeah,
It's like, that's so dumb. Like, it's so thoughtless.
yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting to me because my thought is like universal basic homestead, like to replace universal basic income as a
Yeah.
thought. Because
Yeah.
like that's actually what Canada was built on, was land parcels. And
Yeah.
if you use the ground to generate your economy, and like you can use the trees to build your shelter, like you can be at one with nature to a certain extent. And then on top of that, above and beyond what you need to survive, that you can create because you have the space and the land, above and beyond that, your basic needs are met with literally no money,
Yeah.
because you're generating it from nature. But
Yeah.
then above and beyond that, say you make an excess of goat milk because you have goats and that's what you do, and that's just your skill, then you can start selling that goat's milk for cryptocurrency now.
Yeah.
And then that would create that kind of extra layer of economy, which I think that it should be, which is excess, right? Like
Yeah.
you as your group and your community, like what you guys produce as excess is what you trade with the world. But
Yeah.
everybody's needs are met because you're in a wholesome relationship with the earth.
Yes, and with each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we need small, tightly knit communities,
Mm-hmm.
where they're based on relationship, not just like I live on this street and I don't know anyone who lives around me, like we should be living around the people who are truly a part of our social circle, our
Yeah.
families and our best friends and like-minded people.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that Jordan Hall talks a lot about is civium, which is a model for civilization he developed, and he's just recently putting it into practice. But
Jordan Hall. Oh, okay.
yeah, he's brilliant. I'd highly suggest his work, especially for you. You'd really dig his stuff.
Cool.
He has he has a lot of stuff, but two series that are especially salient to me are. One of them is the Civium series, where he talks all about that. The other one is Deep Code Experiment, which I think you would really dig. It's like explaining the metaphysics of space-time, basically. But it's not like super pretentious or anything. It's not like some spirit science thing, like in the beginning or anything like that. But it's very real, and yeah, it's powerful stuff. I think you'd really dig it.
Cool. Yeah, that's awesome. That's news to me. I'll have to check them out after.
Mm-hmm.
But tell me about what was it, Civium?
Mm-hmm. So one thing about it is the idea of intentional community, having small, tightly knit communities that are, like you said, one with nature, right? Like being one with the earth, doing things properly, and also having a built-in mind towards the sacred, right? Like really honoring that which is sacred, and having that as a part of the community model. Also, so because you're going to have these small, tightly knit communities, obviously there's great advantage to being in a city, right? Having all those consciousnesses together, you get great advantages in innovation, and there's just so much that comes from that social closeness.
Right.
With so many people, even just like mate selection, like having a million people to choose from is better than having like 12 people in your little commune. So
Yeah.
So there's definitely great value in cities, but there's also the challenges of waste management and stuff. Things that actually, the advantages of which scale sublinearly, where it's like the more people you get together, actually the worse it is in some sense,
Right.
which is just a law of nature, like humans can only be so big before we just like can't live.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the consciousness element of like bringing people together socially, it actually is super linear, where like innovation actually goes up exponentially in cities and stuff. So I'm just touching my mic accidentally.
That's all right.
So the Civium model has the idea of, we'll have in real life, in material reality, we have just small, tightly knit communities that are connected to nature, but then we have the online VR world, where we'll have virtual cities on the blockchain, where it's like, you could have millions of people, or you could have 1 billion people in a city, in a VR city, it's like, whatever, it's like, right? Like,
Yeah,
you could just be passing through each other, like,
Right.
whatever.
Yeah, and there'd be no waste management.
Yeah,
It's like-
exactly. It's
Yeah.
like, so it'd
That's
just be
interesting.
perfect. Yeah, so I mean, they definitely want to get a lead on VR technology and be sort of like, at the forefront of that, and that would also help fund things, give them financial power to, help make the world a better place, and do that dollar voting.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and of course, another part of the model is when it comes to economics. I mean, within the Civium, the ideal would be like you're just all living out of the goodness of your heart kind of thing, like you don't necessarily need to keep track of debits and credits, like, we're producing this food, everyone gets to eat it, whatever, and that's just a small community, but then you have the cryptocurrency or whatever to interact with other communities. And when you're doing, or just the world in general, but when you're doing that, to add a sort of intentional sacredness to economics, we would give economic preferential treatment to people who are acting morally in our perspective, right? Like people who have more integrity, people who are
Right.
doing things more justly, or have the right value system and more virtuous. So it's like people who are building their societies and their cultures in the direction that is what we would want. Maybe we give a discount at our goods and services to them, and then people who are screwing up the world is like, well, we'll still let you buy because maybe you have 1 million people in your culture, and or 1 billion people or whatever it is, but we're gonna up the price much higher. So
Yeah.
that gives it's sort of like almost this term has a lot of negative connotation, but it's almost like a moral tax in some sense. It's like people you agree with more, you give a better discount to, and that sort of helps develop things in a better way.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because it's definitely not something new to our society. it would just be a restructuring of those values.
Mm-hmm.
Because we do that, like we might give our friends discounts at our store or something like that, but
Mm-hmm.
even with insurance, like if you're driving well, then you get better discounts on it, which makes sense.
Yeah.
It reminds me of just visions I've had of like through studying different material of like Star Trek or like futuristic kind of sci-fi futures where it's like dispute resolution organizations rather than governments. So it's just like mediating organizations, and then there's also like the ability to create risk analysis, so people would exactly that. Like if your risk analysis gets to a certain height, then you wouldn't you'd be charged more.
Yeah.
Certain people might not want to deal with you at all.
Yeah.
But and that's interesting because then it gets into like social credit score from like China and stuff, and it's like I feel like it's going to like the future is going to have some level of DROs or dispute resolution organizations, and also like risk analysis on individuals. But we have to, I think that's why we have to just do it better and have more diversified options faster, rather than allow some tyrannical government to kind of create that monolithic social credit score.
Yes.
So it's like we could have different organizations creating these types of risk analysis, and if you don't like the way that your organization is running, you could just choose to be part of it. Like just like getting insurance from a different company, basically, that you'd be able to, like in Alberta, choose from different private insurers based on who you feel like you want to deal with the most.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's very important. Yeah, we don't want a Chinese style social credit score, but yeah, we can have a decentralized version of that, of like, like we just,
We already have that with like Google reviews too, right?
Yeah.
So it's like these are not concepts that are too far from reality.
Yeah. We just need to make sure that's not like a top-down authoritarian, like, you're the bad person who doesn't agree with us, so you're cut off or something like that. We need it to be, bottom up.
And I think blockchain will help that.
Yes, absolutely.
Because it creates decentralized ledgers. It creates decentralized autonomous organizations. So.
Yeah. And like you said, there could be one blockchain that has a certain set of values and a certain way of judging it and a certain standards, let's say, and then maybe you don't like that, that's not for you, and you go to a different one that has a different value system or just a different standard of how much the effects are or what they are, like, for sure.
Yeah, and if you're a super nerd, you just make your own.
Yeah, absolutely. Hell yeah.
Those super nerds these days, man, like, holy smokes.
Yeah, I mean, if you know what you're doing, people will end up following you, flocking to you and stuff. And so, yeah, if you feel like you have a good idea, you should just do it, man.
Yeah. Well, it's like Ethereum or any blockchain that's like making Cardano guy there, Hopkins or whatever his name is, but it's just like people invest in these guys' projects because they solve problems and they like the community that they're building behind it.
And sometimes people invest, purely on like their belief in something more than, sometimes people just invest for, what the probability of success is, but a lot of people would rather invest in something that they actually believe in. And so, I mean, don't be too afraid to, put yourself out there and try something new or radical, because maybe everyone's just waiting for you to do it,
Yeah, that's definitely how I've lived my life. The radical. The radical in the room. Yeah, for better or worse. But I feel like God's been guiding me through it, so I think that's what's important.
Yeah, I mean, and...
More tea?
Sure, I'll just grab my mug.
More stew? You can have more food too.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna have some more.
Awesome.
It was nice. I can feel my fat burning right off of me.
Yeah.
It's just sweaty. It's delicious.
For sure.
It's kind of jank, but...
Yeah, all good.
It's the cost of success. You're wired up.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll start with that. It's like getting this. Yeah. those sprouts are definitely an amazing addition.
Mm-hmm.
Toss them on mine if you.
Yeah. With the rest?
Sure, please. Yeah, sounds about right.
Might as well use them up.
Yes, sir. Do you want a little bit of that on top?
Sure, yeah, a little bit of the juices.
Yeah, good spoon there.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Well, we crossed here. Let me go first.
Yes, I will let you go first. Don't cross the streams!
Yeah, don't cross the streams! We'll end the universe here. The universe just ends with Marty's face first into a bowl of stew. It's like,
Yeah.
no, they cross the streams! Yeah, it's kind of fun. Like, this is a good time. I'll continue this project. It's
For sure.
definitely where my heart's at.
Mm-hmm.
Good
Yeah, you got
chats.
some good ideas.
Same with you, my dude. I was like, dang, bro, we vibing.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's the thing, you know, when everyone does what they want to do the most, then they'll be doing the thing that they're best at. If they, you know, are self-aware enough to actually truly know because some people, what they think they want the most isn't what they truly want the most because they don't know themselves well enough, you know. You need to first go on that journey of self-discovery, and then you can, you know, have an appropriate understanding of what you actually want the most.
Yeah, I mean, it really took me a while just to figure out that I wanted to work on the computer. I guess I kind of always knew that to a certain extent, but yeah. I remember really just being like frustrated with the vacuum job, and like it was fun, but it was just not where my heart was at, and the guy was kind of a dickhead and whatever. Like he's a good dude, but it was just he's kind of a jerk, mentally abusive or whatever, like calling people down and stuff and being a jerk ass. But yeah, I mean, ultimately I just didn't want to be like going out every morning and like working 8 hours a day out of the house and driving around and stuff. And it was just, I was like, no, I'm like, and I was expressing this to my boss of how I just wanted to be like at home and on the computer and being able to like be creative, and that like when I stayed up way too late and be creative late at night, like those are the kind of things that I live for. And
Yeah.
he's like, well, why don't you work with me on the computer? And I was like, oh, hallelujah.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Right back to super duper hot, hey? But yeah, it took me a long time to figure that out. I mean, a lot of beating myself up painting and for 10 years, and so glad that I'm out of it. But now, even just like the fact that I could type faster now because I've been typing so much.
Yeah.
Like that to me is just, it's close to my heart. Like I'm happy on the computer.
Yeah, and like I was saying, you know, when everyone does what they want the most, they do what they're best at, and then that creates more abundance for everyone, you know? It's like everyone just gets the best from everyone, and that's the best we can do, you know? So it's excellent.
Definitely much better than, people being stuck in dead-end jobs.
Yeah, for sure. We need to find a way to optimize equality of opportunity. You know, everyone should have the chance to succeed because, everyone has good ideas or good potential. I mean, obviously not everyone's going to be able to actualize it as much, and you know, so there will be differential in success. But we have to make sure that everyone has the right chance, the right opportunities to, you know, get a shot at, you know, doing what they're passionate about and adding true value to the world as opposed to just, you know, doing some job.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like that should be our like number one economic initiative, is to get people doing what they love. And of course that's what I've also found with this ikigai concept, this Japanese concept where it's like your mission, what you can be paid for, and like what you're good at. And I think there's one other one, but like the 4-circle Venn diagram, and in the center is like ikigai, which is Ikigai.
Okay.
Ikage, I don't know, but
Ikigai? Yeah. something like that.
ikigai. It's icky and it's gay. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a cool meaning. And when I started to like learn animation for my job, I was like, wow, like this is that feeling where, you know, it's like
Everything lines up.
all
The elements of your life are just like, it's just like
absolutely
meaningful.
amen. Yeah, like that middle pillar too. But it's just definitely that inner congruency where I started to realize like, wow, people can actually enjoy what they're doing on the day-to-day
Yeah.
and get paid for it,
Yeah.
mind-boggling. I don't have to toil away painting houses. Which was kind of fun, not gonna lie. But
Yeah.
like, it was definitely a grind after too many.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really anticipating coming to that space where I can do what I want and what I love and add value to the world, be useful, and be supporting myself and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And I feel that it's really coming. Like I just feel things coming together. The universe is just aligning. Like things really are going to get better for a good amount of us. Those of us who are in this new future world movement.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I think that's absolutely it. It's going to start with homesteads and getting back to the ground, back to the earth, which we're just the living earth. So, we need to have a good, solid relationship with the earth because it's us. It's as much us as we are it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
And then that's where that kind of economic viability can come from in the first place.
Yeah.
You have goats and chickens and whatnot.
Yeah.
Naz was building out some chicken coop or something recently. Hey?
Yeah, I helped him remodeling a chicken coop. Yeah,
Cool.
We completely remodeled the inside, and he's a master builder. It's awesome.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw that in his message. And
Yeah.
I was like, hey.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. I love that he
doesn't
claims
just-
that.
yeah,
he
he
doesn't beat
does-
around a bunch. Like I'm a master builder.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. That's so cool. I
Yeah.
can't wait to sit down with Naz. If you're watching right now, Naz, like, I can't wait.
Yeah, man, you gotta be on this show.
Yeah, he's
This
so
is
good.
where it is.
Oh man, we're gonna hang out soon enough. But yeah, I was like, that's so cool. Adds another dimension of the character. I was like, he's a master cocoa maker, but
Oh yeah, for sure.
he's got those little cocoa beans. I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
give me like as much of them as
Yeah,
you can.
so good. The roasted ones or the hot drink. Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
amazing. He's all about that.
Yeah.
Great for your health
Oh man.
and just so delicious.
So yeah, we're making a chicken house, remodeling the chicken coop.
Yeah, that was great. Did that, and now we're gonna be doing some more, adding on a run and stuff, and then there's also at the Rainbow Gardens, I think it's called. There's some construction going on there, so I'm gonna help out with that too. But
I think I might be going down this weekend.
nice.
Yeah. I'll be help with that. It'll be kind of fun. Maybe not on my Saturday though. I'm pretty well eyeing that up. I'm like, I think I just want to chill out on Saturday, but we'll see. We'll see when the time comes.
Yeah, I'm planning on going on Friday, Saturday, and then Monday probably.
Okay.
But I think I'm gonna take Sunday off just to go to church and everything and all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's a good time. I'm looking forward to Sunday as well.
Mm-hmm.
Feeding freedom fighters, food for the soul and food for the
The
body.
body and food for the mind.
Amen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like spiritual sustenance,
Mm-hmm.
physical sustenance.
You get what your body needs from the food. Sorry, you get what your body needs from the food. I try to enunciate more. I'm trying to get better at that because sometimes I mumble, especially if I'm going to be recorded. Might as well.
That was pretty
perfect
clear
for me.
both times, I
Yeah.
thought, but yeah.
Um,
That's awesome. That's
Yeah, you
good.
got the food for your body. You get the conversation in your mind for your mind, and then you get the connection for your spirit, for your soul.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Well said. And then you get my chair squeaking for your annoyance.
Yeah. And my mind can just tune it out.
Yeah, me too. I don't know. It actually turned out pretty good the first recording with just like the clicking of the plates and stuff. I thought like, oh man, like how are we gonna just but I think the lapel mics do a decent job. So
Nice.
I'll cut that and put an intro, create an intro, and then release that today,
Awesome.
later tonight, and I'll maybe even release this episode tonight as well.
Cool.
Yeah, because once I got the intro, then it's easy.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like paste.
Yeah. Yeah, my one friend, she wants to start up a podcast. I'm not sure if she's done it yet. I need to contact her. I haven't talked to her for a little while, but she was going to start up a podcast, and last time I talked to her about it, she had just done the intro and stuff, but hadn't gotten any recordings yet. Yeah, it was an awesome, intro. She like played guitar for like the music for it and stuff, and just did this like really cool little ramble. Like I should show it to you sometime, maybe when we're done. But yeah, she seems like such a intelligent and insightful young woman, and she's totally charming, and she's like also like a guitar player in like this rock band, and she like totally rocks out too. So she's really awesome. But I should definitely message her and see if she's followed through on that yet, because I mean the world would be a better place with her podcast. She just really thinks deeply about things and whatnot. So
great, yeah, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much.
Yeah, man. Anytime. Thank you for coming over.
My
like
pleasure.
you said, it's I probably wouldn't have made the stew without you coming here. So
Yeah.
I'm like,
gives you an excuse to actually make great food.
yeah, because that was definitely great. That was like exactly what my body needed after.
That spice is just perfect. It's just like, it's not too hot where you're like, kind of iffy about eating it. It's just like, it gives you that little tingle.
Oh yeah, it's definitely lit my whole inside on fire. So like, but I like that. I used to when I lived in Elmwood, we'd go to the corner store and they had like, it was like super mega red, like black package of noodles with like red on it, and it was just like the spiciest of spicy noodles, and me and my buddy would just sit there and we'd just be like eating these noodles with just like water pouring, just so destroyed, just like this is so good.
Yeah.
I have no idea how I used to do that, but it was fun, I guess. It was also, I guess, probably because we egged each other on too, so we'd be like, let's go get spicy noodles, and be like,
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, when you get into the really spicy stuff, like I've had some pho that was just like, or pho, however you pronounce it, like so spicy, and it's like, you're just like got the snot running, the tears running, and it's like, oh my god, drooling. It's like so intense, but it's just like, it's good though.
Yeah.
And like that's the thing, like with stuff that's really spicy like that, it kind of gives you a little bit of like almost like a drug feeling. You get a little high on it. It's like your brain just starts like fizzling, and it's just and then it's like it's so hot, so kind of like you want to like stop, take a like cool down, have some milk or something, but at the same time it's like it feels kind of good and tingly, so then you get addicted to it and you keep on getting more and more. It's like you start freaking out. I love it.
Yeah. I remember when I was at my East Indian buddies and he'd like make me super spicy food. He'd give me mango juice mango juice. Yeah, somehow it's like better than milk.
Yeah.
And I was just like, man, if I remember too spicy to have a glass of mango juice, and that just seems to eliminate it.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, it's good. Definitely turns on fat burning, so I think that's part of why it like creates that kind of a high, because it's like, it's like something even with coffee like turns on fat burning and gets you high, but like there's a difference there obviously with caffeine.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's definitely something about ketosis and fat burning that's not only very healthy, but makes you feel like nice and clean. And and it's fascinating. So more spicy food, the better. The more medium spicy food though, because like right now these days I couldn't go with like eating hot peppers or something.
Yeah. And you don't want to be paying for it afterwards in the bathroom, like that can be really painful.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's mostly for me if I just don't eat properly.
Yeah.
Never found spicy food that bad for the digestion, just if I don't eat the right combination of good foods, like different textures and stuff, then I don't feel good the next day.
Yeah. For me, like if I like if you're just having like say pizza, but it's like some really spicy like Indian pizza where it's all like like the sort of like curry spicy pizza, that can do it for me. It's like that can make me have some pain. But yeah, if you're doing it with like a good whole foods, and then that'll just everything will balance out and stuff. But
yeah, like a natural pizza, I should make that one day soon actually. But pizza in general is like not the best on the insides.
Yeah.
Depending on the pizza, but it's like, man, some pizza can be just Especially that like cardboard freezer pizza that you would put in the oven. It's just like,
Yeah.
oh, why did I eat this?
Yeah.
Oh, because somebody served it to me and I didn't want to be rude.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, it wasn't so bad. I had that pizza recently. It wasn't too bad. And I was like,
Yeah.
better than no food at all.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah, man, I think we could wrap it up here.
Cool.
And we can still hang out, but I'll stop the recording.
Sounds good.
Oh, I'm just like dripping sweat.
Mm-hmm.
Just the right